Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing the August bots on chess.com, from the 300 rated kebab to the 3000 plus rated grillmaster, who looks suspiciously like Hikaru. My goal is to win all 5 games. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, first up we have the kebab. Let's go ahead and play. As the white pieces, I will alternate every game that we go. It says on guard, each piece you capture is a piece you eat off our skewer. You gotta be ready for the skewer jokes. I'm gonna play e4 in this game, so I think I can probably finish off the kebab relatively quickly. Any skewer jokes before we checkmate you, my friend? Tomato, radish, carrot. Okay, he's an enthusiast. We'll play queen to f3, threatening mate in 1. They do stop it with pawn to f6. And pepper. All right, that's enough. Everything that goes into a proper kebab. Let's go and play queen to b3. Reroute the queen to now threaten the knight on g8. It's not exactly a skewer, but it's pressure on the position. We get knight to e7. Take a knight. That's a tomato gone from our skewer. I don't get it. Somebody explain it in the comments. I don't get the joke. We get knight to e7. Let's continue with knight to f3. We're probably just gonna have to play relatively normal chess because these bots are always capable of stopping mate in 1, which is rather frustrating because it's not very realistic, but they will give away entirely free pieces and play obnoxious moves like pawn to g5, king to f8, etc. That idea was a little undercooked. Yeah, this guy is going to be full of puns. Also, some of you might have noticed that it says I'm rated 2400, which is technically true. In Bullet, I'm rated 2400, but don't believe your eyes, don't believe everything you see, because I'm actually rated 2000/2100 in Blitz and Rapid. So 2400, quote unquote. We get pawn to h6, which does drop the pawn on f6, which I am happy to take. Pawn to b6 in response. We'll play h4 to try to open up the king side. And we get king to g7, which means we can take, temporarily defends the knight. When the pawn takes back, we have rook takes h8. There should be mate incoming at some point. We get queen takes, which does threaten the knight, so I probably should move him back. It's a little bit annoying because now there's queen to h1, which I have allowed with open arms. But I brought this unto myself, so I can't really complain too much. Let's go ahead and play knight to g4. Yeah, I'm playing this terribly. King to e1. I don't know where I lost my way. I think I got carried away with the attack and a little overconfident that the bot was quote unquote guaranteed to blunder. So far, I haven't seen the blunder on the board yet. If we take on g5, we give away the rook. Are there mating ideas to justify it? I don't know. I don't think there are. I don't know. Let's just play a4. I fumbled this game up at some point, which is absolutely insane. We get pawn to b5. I'll go ahead and take back. There goes another pepper. Is that what we're calling them now? We'll play check. If we can get this bishop out of the way, we can bring the queen into the position. So bishop to e8, looking at queen to f7. Queen takes g2, allows check. Surely there's mate here somehow. King goes back. Let's go ahead and take on g5. Bishop to f6 is the threat. We get a free queen. Might as well take it with the rook, so we have double trouble in terms of mating threats. And with that, we do mate the kebab and win game number 1. I don't even want to see what the analysis says to say about that. Let's go ahead and move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2, we get the black pieces against Burger, rated 850, who says, you're not just playing a flame-grilled patty, ... Pretty sure we have to make a move if we want to see what he has to say next. Get d4, you're playing a 100% grade A greatness farm to board. I don't know, man. I feel like this is a conversation that we've been needing to have. I'm about to go full Broger King on you. Okay, I'm gonna take on e4. If it plays the alien gambit, all will be forgiven. Let's play knight to f6. It just takes on f6. Okay, fair enough. I don't know, I'm making it sound like a breakup conversation, but let me start by saying that a few of you guys commented that I did not play the July bots, which is true. I honestly don't even know what they were. They might have been something absolutely legendary, but I kind of just glossed over them because even though playing these bots was somewhat of a cornerstone of how this channel sort of got started, and I did do them every month for a while, a very long while actually, after some time, it just kind of felt like I was playing the same rebranded bots, the same elo, same level of stockfish, give or take, but with a different face and with a different catchphrase. Like, whatever, I can win without a bishop. You're playing chess. I'm playing chess today. You know, I don't know. We get pawn to e3. We'll play bishop to f4, targeting that pawn. Nice, we win the queen. Don't mind if I do. And I don't know, it just feels a little bit heartless. Kind of just feels like playing stockfish after a while. We get pawn to c4. And I don't mean to just, rant on and on, because if it was that big of an issue, then I shouldn't be playing them at all right now. But maybe it's fun to beat up on bots. But we do win a bishop here on f3. Check, nice. Pre-move the capture, and this is now completely winning. Play knight to d7, finish developing. But yeah, I don't know, it might just be in my DNA, because if you haven't noticed, my whole entire channel is about chess variants. And I love playing chess variants because it has the heart and soul of chess, which is a game that I've always loved to play, but it also brings its own spice to it. So, suddenly your pieces are exploding, or, your pieces turn to stone, or there's a duck on the board, or you're playing with a partner and dropping pieces back on the board, etc., etc., etc. Not to mention, I'm totally happy to play standalone chess as well. It's something I've done on the channel many times, but the truth is I enjoy variants a little bit more. And I always thought these bots were going to be something of, a variant, but the truth is it's just sort of a certain elo of stockfish rebranded month to month. We'll go ahead and grab this free rook on f1, and there's no problem with playing against them. I could probably make this something of an instructional series if you guys would be interested in watching if you guys would be interested in watching that. I'm going to take on g3. But as far as playing quote unquote fun variants goes, I just don't think this falls under that category, if that makes sense. This might be something that I do over on the live channel from time to time. Since it is only once a month and it really doesn't take that long, I'll go ahead and link the live channel down below. We are almost at 1,000 subs, which is absolutely insane. We'll go ahead and move on to the next bot. GG's to the 850 rated burger. We're now going to play against the potato salad. We'll take the white pieces against the 1400 potato salad. Oh, hey, didn't expect anybody to play me. Well, we're here. We're playing d4. Play knight to f3. Just developing our pieces. We do get g6. Against the London d6 is quite annoying because knight to e5 is no longer possible. Let's play a game as exciting as diced potatoes mixed with mayonnaise and hard-boiled eggs. I'm so hardwired for chess variants that I thought it was going to say diced chess for a second. All right, we do get d6. Against that, I always play bishop e2 and then c4. Nice, normal developing moves. h3 is really something that I should drop at some point because knight to h5 is a very real threat to take the bishop. So I will play that now. I really should have played it earlier, actually. Get knight to a6, but it's a 1400 rated bot. It's not going to be that precise. We get pawn to c5. Let's go ahead and close up the center. That move was excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Potato Salad. I'm so glad you think so. It would be funny if we took with the bishop and then just got pinned, but we'll take with the queen instead, I think. Wait, queen takes. Rook d8. Is that not just super annoying for my queen? Is this theory? Queen to e5, knight g4, boom, the bishop sees the queen. Queen has nowhere to go. Cry about it? I don't know. We'll play pawn to a3 and just stop the knight from going to b4. But I do think that would have lost the queen. Let's go ahead and take on e4. And then queen to b3 protects the pawn from the bishop, but also sort of looks at b7. Get pawn to e5. Go to move the bishop up to g5. The pawn on d6 is going to be weak for a very long time to come. Oh, it's pushing my bishop all the way back. Interesting. Whoa, all the way back. This is super aggressive. Lots of pieces flying in my general direction. b7 is kind of free, to be honest. Oh, b7 is kind of free. Oh my god, famous last words. That's so funny. Oh my god, okay, rook to d1. 2400 my butt. Oh, and then the fork. We'll try to take on b7 and make something of it, but holy smokes. No tactics whatsoever. Just pain. Just pure pain right to the gut. And of course it's a 1400 rated bot. This is going to give me all my material back completely for free, but not well deserved. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's d6 being a weakness all over again. If we take with the rook, queen takes b2 is not the end of the world really, because there's always knight to f1. So I guess we can play it. Rook takes d6. Oh my goodness. All right, let's play bishop to h5. And I'm looking for bishop g6 and then taking on e4. Rook to f6. If it wants to trade, I think I'm fine with that. Okay, a little spite check in between. Sure. And then the queen takes. Okay. I'm pretty sure I can beat this bot in this endgame, so I'm going to lean into it. Even though against a human player, I wouldn't dream of playing like this. Because my king is more defended than theirs, so I have no reason to give up my queen. But the problem is this bot is low rated enough that it doesn't actually matter. Go ahead and target the rook. I say it doesn't actually matter after getting cobbled by that fork on c2, but hopefully you get my point. We'll play bishop to f5 check, followed by bishop to e5. Ooh, king goes back, so bishop e5 is no longer necessary. Okay, we're gonna move the knight back. Somebody has to be able to defend a3 in case of rook to a6. We get bishop to f6. I'll play knight to d5 instead, actually, targeting the bishop. Rook slides over, sure. And we have two bishops versus a rook in the endgame, which isn't like a crushing defeat for the opponent, but we should be able to win this. We'll play with the bishop back. We are dropping the pawn on a3, which is unfortunate, but okay, again, 1400 doesn't notice it. We'll play the pawn to a4. Bishop c2 is always an idea now to defend. Sure, bishop back. I don't love that the rook can come into play, but rook d6 isn't immediately possible. So we have time to bring the king out to the middle of the board. Rook to f6, king to e2, and the rook shuffles over. Okay, I guess the king can shuffle over as well, and sort of hold on to everybody in the position. Holds on to the bishop, holds on to the pawn. Rook has no way to get further into the position. We'll target the pawn on c5, which is now completely free. Nice, and we boot the rook in the process. Bring the bishop back, and we'll start focusing on pushing this pawn. To be totally honest, I'm just going to fast forward through this because this is not that deep. Yeah, nice. Bishop to f5, hits the king, hits the rook. Promoting to a queen with check, guarantees mate in a couple of moves. I guess just check, and then bishop to f6. Nice, and with that we beat the potato salad, apparently with one mistake. Let's go to, oh, apparently no, bishop c2, right? We'll go ahead and move on to the next spot. All right, the next spot is the popsicle rated 1800. We are going to play with the black pieces, and it says my philosophy, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I've actually said that, wait a minute. You know what, this popsicle might be kind of cool after all. I've said that many a time, usually right before making a terrible decision. So join me, let us shine in our brief moment in the sun, that very hot sun. Uh-oh, I don't think he knows what happens to popsicles in the very hot sun. Okay, we grabbed 2 extra pawns, which is really interesting because for a bot to sacrifice 2 pawns, it's going to have to get a very positional advantage, which is possible, but you know, it's going to take some justification. Protect your king all you want, the time comes for us all. Fair enough. I've never heard wiser words spoken from a popsicle. Well, now that I think about it, I've never heard any words spoken from a popsicle. All right, knight to d5, guarantees we grab the bishop. Pre-move the recapture, nice. Positional advantage, pretty much out the window. Nice, we'll play, I don't know, bishop e6 doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess we should try to trade queens, because that endgame would be very favorable. It moves the queen back, we'll pin the knight to the rook. Not to mention bishop d4 is an idea. Okay, bot immediately notices that, which is not very human, but fair enough. We'll play rook to e8, bring more pieces towards the center. It boots our bishop. I'm going to go ahead and just take and simplify into an endgame. Rook takes e5, break open the center. Take back with the queen, bring the rooks into play. Opposite colored bishop endgame. Could be a little bit drawish. But they're actually the one with the pressure on our pawn at the moment. We'll play the rook back to defend and cover the 7th rank. We get pawn to a3. Let's move this bishop to g7. And the idea is king to g7 and then f5. Because the truth is this bishop is going to do absolutely nothing stuck here. It's going to be much better placed looking to come in behind the pawns. That is not how the bishop moves. It's going to be much better placed looking at the pawns from behind. We'll play pawn to f5, so this is no longer a weakness. Rook shuffles over, fair play. We should probably double our rooks as well. Awaiting rook to d7, nice, king to f6. Yeah, and unless some terrible accident occurs, this is very, very drawish. I guess I'll just move my king back. I kind of like the prospect of bishop d2. Rook to e6 is insane. If I take rook takes e8, I mean, it works, but is that better for them? That's a really cool find. I can't take because it's pinned to the king. I just don't think it works in terms of giving them any advantage. Because now what? What do we do against this pawn? Bishop to e6. Okay. Ugly move, but I think I can just move my rook over. Yeah, g4 I take. Bishop takes, and then I just grab a free pawn on c3. All right, we'll go ahead and take on b5 as well. And I think we should be winning now. Play this little check. King comes up. Let's try a6. It'd be nice to trade off, which we do get that. So now we have an outside pass pawn, and we also have 2v1 on the queen side. We get bishop to e6. Play pawn to a5, in the interest of playing bishop c3 and making sure that pawn is always protected. Oh, rook trade! There's no way this is a theoretical draw. 2 extra pawns, even in opposite colored bishops, I'd be amazed if this was a theoretical draw. I genuinely would be blown away. King to f6. King comes forward. We'll do the same. Bishop to c6. Okay. Bishop c3. Shuffle the king over, defends the pawn, but also looks for a way into the position. Nice, looking at king to h4 now. Ooh, king to e4, king to h4. And then g5, looking for h5, g4. King comes up. Yeah, this has to be winning. There's no way. There's no way. This has to be one for us. Nice. And the thing is, the bishop can't even sacrifice. Because if the bishop sacks and the king takes, whenever you have one of these endgames, if the pawn promotes to the same colored square that the bishop sits on, then there's always a way for the bishop to kick out the enemy king. So if this pawn were promoting onto a light square and we had a dark squared bishop, the king could just run to the light square and it's literally impossible for us to kick him out. But if it's promoting to a dark square, we can always give check and the king has to move out of the way, or it's, checkmate. We'll move the king to h3. Actually, bishop, that kind of walks into bishop d7, which is annoying. Yeah, okay. Sure, king Back to h4, I guess. Fine, we'll play g3. And it's a little bit of a slow walk, but we can just move the king around. Nice. Again, this pawn is sort of protected just by sitting by itself, because this is a light squared bishop. It can never touch our pawn. King to f2. Free bishop, don't mind if I do. And I'll go ahead and fast forward through this part as well. All right, quite easily my favorite type of checkmate incoming. Let's go ahead and pre-move that. Have a little Hikaru moment. Whoops, sorry, I just slammed my desk. With that, we do beat the 1800 rated bot, apparently with 5 mistakes this time, but I thought it was relatively well played. Now we're gonna make the enormous jump to a 3000 rated Hikaru, grillmaster. We'll play with the white pieces this time. Welcome to my backyard, I'm cooking up something special. And what he means by that is he's doing this a million times and then saying, I'm just gonna castle. Which is very reminiscent of another grandmaster. I forgot what his name is. We get knight to f6. For today's barbecue, we will be grilling a delicious meat, tasty vegetables, and brilliant moves. Okay, don't try to distract me with your fabulous cooking, Mr. Not Hikaru, who is a grill master. Play bishop to f4. I'm just gonna play a normal London system. It's weird because I wholly expect to get destroyed by this bot. At the same time, doesn't mean I'm not gonna try to put up a fight. They always play these sort of weird openings. You're gonna have to put out a lot of fires this game. I'll add this pawn to the recipe for a little kick of flavor. You're definitely kicking something, but that's my bishop. Ooh, and I can't even sack. Looking for queen takes h5 because the pawn recaptures and defends with the rook. So that's interesting. We'll play pawn to c3. I'm not intentionally trying to play passively, but there's really nothing that I can capitalize on. Bro thinks he's grillmaster Hikaru. As a grandmaster. Stakes, 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 and if stakes, stakes, here's stakes, here's stakes, stakes. Hey, I'm just gonna castle. Hey, I quoted him even before you did. Maybe I'm more Hikaru than grillmaster is. Should I grill you up some stockfish? We get pawn to f5. Oh, you hate to see this. You see that on the board, and the opponent is 3000? Usually not a good sign. In this case, we're losing the bishop on g3. So we'll go ahead and try to offer a bishop trade. Pawn to g4, I think we can just take, or rather stake. King to g7. Now we have to reroute this. Oh, reroute nothing. This knight is lost, isn't it? No, it's not lost. We have knight to e5, but the problem is bishop takes g2. Yeah, knight g1 obviously doesn't work because then we trap our own rook. All right, knight to e5. Go and find a square for yourself, my friend. Yeah, pawn to d6. Knight c4 is forced. Oh, queen to h4. What a terrible day to see queen to h4 on the board. Doesn't even take on g2. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay, why doesn't g3 work? Because it threatens the queen, so we don't lose the rook. Queen to h3, I just move the rook over. I drop the pawn, means I lose the rook. Okay, queen to e2. I just want to castle my king out of the way. I'm sorry I even said kingside attack in your presence. Rook g1, I think is fine, because we castle and then defend the rook. Bishop goes back, nice, we castle. All right, what's he been? He's been talking smack, I'm sure. What the fridge? Clicks tongs in your face. This guy. All right, I gotta give it to them. As much as I was complaining about the bots earlier, the dialogue on this one is hilarious. That's good dialogue. All right, we have to open up the king side somehow. So I think e4 is the most reasonable way to do that. I mean, obviously that's opening up the center, but we're looking for a king side attack. Okay, queen to e3. I did not see that fork. But then again, when do I see forks? Get out of here. You're gonna want to check out that move after the game. No, I'm sure that was a brilliant. Oh. Yeah, because if I take with the queen, knight takes, wins the bishop, works the king, wins back the queen. Wow. Yeah, that's tough. All right, what do I even do here? Rook e1? So if they take my queen, I take back, and I'm still defending the bishop? Disgusting. I don't want to hear it. Save it, buddy. I don't want to hear it. Knight to c6. Oh my god. You want to spend some time? He's still talking about his cooking. Oh my goodness. Okay, bishop back to c2. So bad. All right, our knight is still getting harassed. That's really the sign of a bot, to be honest, is the ability to take one idea, like a brilliant move, and then immediately parry over to, oh, okay, back to harassing this knight since it has nowhere good to move to. I actually wrote a paper for English on, what was it on specifically? I guess it was, I'm pretty sure it was generally on the influence of bots in the chess world. But one of the subsections was about the difference between bot and human play. And I found this really interesting research article talking about, obviously, that idea. Let's go ahead and play c4 so we close up the queen side. Oh, pawn. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about my research article. Knight to e2, terrible. But anyways, the point of the article was that they did an analysis between the difference in human moves and bot moves. Yeah, forks for days, buddy. And one of the biggest differences that they found was the ability of the bot to very quickly switch between ideas. So for example, whereas a human might say, okay, in this position, I think I'm going to have a kingside attack, let's say on move 20, by the time move 30 rolls around, if the position has changed concretely enough that it merits a change in plan, the bot is going to have a much easier time flipping that switch and saying, okay, time to do this now, or time to take on this tiny little miniature plan so that 10 moves down the line, if these two plans arise, this one's clearly better and then I'm winning or whatever. Whereas the human is more likely to think in very broad terms and very intuitive terms. So let's go for a kingside attack, or let's fight for the open file, or things like that. The bot is more capable of saying, okay, we're fighting for a kingside attack, but now we're playing a brilliant move that sacks the queen, and now we're harassing a knight that didn't have moves 5 turns ago. And it has no problem with jumping from idea to idea to idea. So it adapts. For example, if a human thought I'm doing a kingside attack and then saw a queenside castle, the human is much more likely to follow through on the kingside attack. Whereas the bot will say, screw your queenside castle, I'm sacking my queen, I'm harassing your knight, and now I'm coming all the way back around to promote a pawn back on the king side. So I don't know, a little bit of a tangent, but something that I found very, very interesting when I was researching. I still thank that English teacher to this day for letting us choose our own topics to write about instead of having like a pre-made list, because it really lets you, dive headfirst into whatever topic you're interested in. In the meantime, we're diving headfirst into a promoted pawn that's going to assassinate our position, so I really have no choice but to sacrifice. Yeah, and even playing this against a 3000 bot is absolute audacity. Feel the propane. Oh, I'm feeling the pain right now. Knight to d2, I guess, cuts off the threat of the bishop. We drop this pawn. I mean, it's all in vain, to be honest. Try to make this a little more concrete while we're at it. Yeah, g3. I can't move the knight because I just pinned it myself. I can move the bishop, though, I guess. Trade, I guess, is fine. I guess is fine is like such a... It doesn't even apply here. It's all losing. It's a 3000 rated bot. I know it's going to beat me in this endgame up a rook. When I ask if that was the best move, you reply, yes, chef. Ready, chef. Of course, chef. Reminds me of Kitchen Nightmares. Honestly, not a bad show, but I feel like once you grow up a little bit, you realize how much of it feels very forced. I guess that's probably true with a lot of shows. The other thing that's forced is this pawn. It's called forced promotion, and I'm about to eat it head first. Rook to h1 is definitely the best move, yeah. Rook to h1, screw you. Rook to g1, you're not promoting on the next turn or the next one after that. King moves out of the way, has to move out of the way, and then promotes. Of course, does it while creating another threat. Move the knight back, queen promotes, and might as well allow them to play en passant, just for style. Okay, it passes up on the offer, we move the queen back, or rather move the king back, has to be mate here forced. Yeah, there we go, knight takes b3, delivers mate. With that, we lose the 5th and final game, but we did get the 4 victories previous to it, and got verbally sauced on, I guess literally, there's another barbecue-related pun, by the grillmaster, who is definitely not Hikaru. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below what your opinion is on whether or not we should continue to do the monthly bots. Like, I feel like there's an argument there for it, just because it's a staple of the channel. I almost feel bad about skipping July now, but at the same time, I go into it head first with the thought process that, yeah, it's kind of just the same thing over and over. But I don't know. Let me know down below if you guys have a different thought process, have some other ideas. Maybe I can do something like a spinner wheel or something to spice it up. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.